To me right now.
It doesn't want to listen to you right now. It's like being a teenager.
It is. It's unruly. It's like you got.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, why, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king, and also home of the Fat Boy Tasting Notes. Well, I got to see these lovely fine fellows this weekend, and there's all sorts of excitement about things that happened. Starting probably on Thursday, I think there was some unruliness beginning, maybe even on Friday. But before we get any further, I want to thank everyone in the chat for being here and stopping in on this Monday, especially if you're at the event this weekend. It was really, really fun, and we appreciate you stopping in. Mike, do you want to tell people about the Bar Cart Co-op?
Yeah, sure, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Okay.
Or are you? Didn't mean to jump in the middle of the typing.
The Bar Cart Co-op is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. The Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter. From blind tastings to distiller panels to discussions of special collaborations and the usage of unique grains. The Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. Then we have the oldest in the group, which is Distillers Talk, which is hosted by Christy Atkinson and Alan Bishop. It's a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that one is not nerdy enough, there is the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test, which could be individual grains, mash bills, equipment, and methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe. Then there is the Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. They have conversations with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks like us about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. I do not know what upcoming shows are, but I know there's one coming up with the band called Otis. I know that one's coming up for sure. Then we have If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about the spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get the 3 previous seasons and the current season, which is going right now. And last but certainly not least, we have the Whiskey Ring podcast, where David Levine interviews people and gets really deep into the conversations with them. David does all the things that we won't. Like put our thoughts in writing.
That's no fun. But yeah, this past weekend, we all went to Distill America, but some of us got started early. I only got to show up on Saturday afternoon. I got there about noon. Some of us started much earlier than that. Mitch, how did your trail of destruction start?
So we left Louisville Wednesday evening, drove north of Indy, and then Thursday we got up, went to Sobelman's in Milwaukee for a Bloody Mary and an appetizer because can't do anything without a Bloody Mary and an appetizer when you're in Wisconsin, if I'm 100% honest. Stopped by Dancing Goat and had an amazing tour, not going to lie. Really enjoyed myself. Was on a tour actually with a couple farmers who were looking at starting to grow heritage grain, possibly.
Oh, really?
So apparently, yeah, something happened in Wisconsin about their energy bill, and like farmers aren't making as much money growing number 2 dent.
Mm-hmm.
So afterwards, went around tried a couple more things, was getting ready to buy some stuff, and I was like, so I do this everywhere I go. Do y'all want to try some stuff you can't get in Wisconsin?
Have you heard of me?
And they were like, sure, why not? So I went back to the still with their distiller, and then right then Nick Mass came in and was like, heck yeah, let's get this going. So they chose some of the highlights and tried them and had a lot of fun. Then we managed to get to Madison, or actually we drove through Madison to Sauk City, like a 5-minute drive from Wallersheim. And we were like, yay, we're here, bedtime. Oh, no, wait, actually I forgot about that. No, we went to a bar that was awesome, and got my first Wisconsin Old Fashioned.
Okay.
And then it was apparent. Oh yeah, that's Sobelman's with the Bloody Marys. Mine is missing the cheeseburger that was on top because I was very hungry.
An entire cheeseburger.
It was very good. I highly recommend. Also, I cannot see the chat, so if people are trying to chat with me, my bad. I'm on my phone tonight. So we went to a bar, and it was apparently one of the workers' anniversaries with his girlfriend. And I was like, well, we've got to celebrate. And I'd asked them, like, earlier if they had any Wisconsin only things because I wasn't from around there. And they were like, I mean, does like summer shandy count? Because that's like delicious. And I was like, no, I can get summer shandy. But I had bought some of the distilled summer shandy from Dancing Goat. And I was like, y'all want some distilled summer shandy? And they kind of looked at me like, so more summer shandy? And I was like, oh, no, right. Like, not normal people, or normal people, not me. And so I was like, no, it's summer shandy moonshine. And they were like, oh, yes, we would. So I ran out to the car and got out the jar and brought it in, and they poured themselves some shots, and they were like, oh, I guess we got to go. Where is this Dancing Goat? So that was fun. Morgan was like, I can't believe you didn't bring in your entire case. I was like, oh.
Mitch is opening accounts.
Yeah.
So that was the next day. So Friday we went to. Oh, sorry.
Was that before or after the self-whittling?
That
was before.
That probably was the self-whittling.
Because did the self-whittling happen at Wallersheim?
Or was it at Driftless Glen? I believe it was
that was the start of it. Because
all I know is I remember we get this picture sent to us by your lovely lady.
Mm-hmm. I had a long day. It takes a lot out of you to whittle as many people as I did. So Friday starts, and we do Driftless Glen, Wallersheim, and J. Henry. So even though we were just a few minutes from Wallersheim, they opened at 12. So we started at Driftless Glen because they opened at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through there, and I whittled the tour guide, the guy who works in the warehouse, and their distiller. So, and the crazy thing about Driftless Glen is they don't have so much of a set tasting as you can just be like, can I try that? What about that? That looks good too. So like between us, like all being interested in very different things, we tried a lot of Driftless Glen products. And then the tasting ended when the tour guide had to start his next tour. He literally set his cup down and was like, okay, are y'all ready over here? It was like, ooh.
At least they had people that were interested. And they do have quite a selection there between the variety of ryes now and other stuff and finished product as well. So you could, Probably did, but did you try the old fashioned at Driftless Glad?
I did not. I was attempting to be mildly.
Okay. They do make a wonderful old fashioned at Driftless Glen. I believe they use the Luxardos as well.
So my favorite thing that they had was the distillery exclusive. Was it bourbon or rye? That was finished in the orange sherry. So it's like Bourbon de Naranja or something like that. And it's yeah. So that was really good because like orange and whiskey go together really well. So we left there. We left there and went to Wollersheim, who is not currently offering tours.
Oh,
but I was like, but it says the distillery's open, so I was like, maybe somebody will be there. So if not, we'll just show up, try some stuff. They have a bistro and whatever. Like, we'll make it. So we showed up, got a tasting, sat down, and then Tom walked out, and I just literally pointed at him like that, and he just kind of pointed back at me, and I was like, "You don't know me," and he's like, "You look a little familiar, though." I was like, "We met last year at Distill America." I was like, "And I loved everything you made." But this year I came up here, and I brought like a case of alcohol you can't get, so you can't get here in Wisconsin. And I was wondering if you wanted to try it. And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "All right, well, I wasn't expecting that. So let's go." Right. So I went to the car, brought it back up. And Wollersheim is gorgeous, partially because it's built into like the side of a mountain. And walking up that side of a mountain, carrying my little satchel of 17 mostly full bottles, wanted to die a little bit, especially after as many drinks as I'd had. So we rocked back up, Tom had to go do stuff. So I basically grabbed a bartender and I was like, I need to talk to Tom, please. And they're like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I didn't tell him my name. Shoot." So they grabbed him and he brought us back, gave us, like a personal tour, which was really awesome. We ended up in the barrel room and I was just, I was pulling things out, like asking how much you wanted to taste. And he's like, "I should probably, like 6 to 8's probably max." And I was like, "All right, well, let's start picking 8. So he picked out 8. And then he's like, "What would you like to try?" And I was like, "I've had all this. It's fine. Thank you." And he's like, no, like out of the barrels. So I got to try some awesome stuff from Wollersheim, right? Cask strength. So we tried like one of his single barrel bourbons, I want to say. Then we tried a pear brandy that was absolutely fantastic. But my highlight was a white corn whiskey, I think, finished in port barrels.
Oh.
Absolutely fantastic. Small problem, right? Like pear brandy, very high proof. Everything else cask strength. Also had a lot, right? So at the end of this, I was like, it's a real good thing you're driving, babe, because there's no way I can. So then we went to J. Henry.
Sorry, I love that part where it's like that. But just the two that you met, the other one you mentioned, I am really excited. Obviously, white corn is so hot right now.
White corn is so hot right now.
So hot right now.
Oh, that's the bar I gave him the moonshine at, or I had to describe the whatchamacallit. And that is deep fried corn right there. So they cut it in quarters, batter it, and deep fry it. So if you're Shannon, you need to go to Sauk City.
See, there you go. So there's some corn involved in the show. And it is pretty good. I'm going to have to try that when I get back in there. But so then you traveled to J. Henry after that excitement.
Yep. Ran into some folks that I accidentally knew from ProvadaCon in Florida. So that was unexpected.
Sweet.
and then attempted to wettle them, and they were like, "No, we're going to be responsible." I was like, "That is fair. That is fair." So we went to the hotel, at which point, man, where did we, babe? That Friday night where we wanted a greasy cheeseburgers?
Greasy cheeseburgers.
We got greasy cheeseburgers from some place named after it. The Tipsy Cow or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. That
Yes.
sounds accurate both ways. And greasy
Yeah,
burgers.
it was. Because I kept drinking Spotted Cow while I was there. Very good.
You're on vacation, you know. It's okay to enjoy stuff every.
You
now and then.
can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning and finish at the end.
True.
Right?
That's fair.
So we went home and Morgan was like, "I want dessert." And I was like, "Okay." And then that's when that picture that Mike showed me just that was. She came back and was like, "Did you want dessert?" And I was like, "Nope." Just fell perfectly asleep.
The dessert is tired.
Yeah.
And
And then Saturday was Distill America.
Yeah.
So, Mike, when did you get moving on the weekend?
Friday morning early, left home at 5. Got up there. So the friends that I was staying with, I was piggybacking on their 35th anniversary getaway.
Hey.
So I was staying with them, but they stayed in one place Thursday night, and so we were going to meet up. But I got to town, ran a couple of quick errands, and then we decided to walk around the area and stuff, and got into our little Airbnb, which was half a block away from Bree Stevens, facing a park, so it was very close and pretty nice. Let's see, what did we do? We had a quick tasting, of course, because I brought bottles up and then brought some samples for him to have. So we did a tasting, and his wife had never been to anything spirits related.
Oh,
Generally drinks vodka drinks, seltzer drinks, just doesn't care for brown liquor at all. So she did partake and try a few things. And then we went to the old fashioned. So we walked up to the old fashioned and had a we both wanted an old fashioned. I will have to say this time at going to the old fashioned, they weren't busy at all. The service wasn't good. The old fashioned wasn't as good as I remember either. This one had way too much soda in it, like way too much soda. But the food, of course, was great. Curds off the charts. And he and I both had gotten a shaved beef tenderloin sandwich. The bun, and I kid you not. So they bring the sandwich out, and we're like, okay, that'd be good, good protein, whatever. It was a good 8 inches across and packed full of beef tenderloin. Like, I am not eating all of this. It was beef tenderloin and mushrooms and cheese and all this other stuff in there, anything. So we had those, felt really good to walk, leaving there, going back. And then we were getting ready because, as Fred told us, Willie Nelson was going to be playing at Bree Stevens on Friday night. We thought, well, we're going to go camp out and listen to some Willie because that's what one does. So we did a couple more tastings before we went down to go see Willie. We walked around the perimeter, scouted out where we would set up our chairs so we could hear it all. We did do, we had a special toast Friday night, which turned into second, third, fourth, and fifth toast because last Friday was 5 years since my wife had passed, and my friend was there that day, and we had red breast that day and toast. Anyway, Mike had too much. So, and sitting and listening to Willie didn't help. But no, it was cool. We got to hear Willie out there, and people watching was wonderful. And then and Shannon had gotten to town. She came, listened to Willie with us a little bit, came back. We did another tasting, and everybody was tired. It was just kind of Shannon had been up for a long time. Friend's wife went to sleep. Friend and I were not good. we were not good. Yeah. So Saturday morning we got up early, and he and I went on a long walk, and then I went on another long walk because I was like, I gotta sweat. And then I went on one more about 10 o'clock. I did a 4-miler, and I was wearing pants and 2 shirts, and it's like, I'm sweating. Like I am going to sweat. And then met up with Mitch and Morgan before my second shower of the day. And this is important because Mitch and Morgan was posting about all of their exploits traveling across the upper Midwest. And I was biting my tongue the entire time because a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Rose contacted me and he's like, hey, I want to get something for Mitch to hand out at Distill America. And he said, do you remember the Got Milk logo? And he's like, yeah. He goes, can you do a thing, for it, whatever. So you can see it in here. These little stickers in the middle of the screen that got whittled. Mitch probably could have gotten rid of a half roll of them before Distill America. But they came in very handy during the event starting that day. And I'd have to say, that's pretty decent adhesive on those stickers too.
Yeah, they stuck around.
They did stick around. They stuck around. They actually, even after being on my shirt in the heat and everything else, it found a new home Saturday night, and it's still there. So good choice on that, Kevin. So that's all of mine leading up to Distill America.
Sorry. Just had a break. I'm just having a little golden beaver right now. I had to have a little sip of something before I get into talking.
That works.
Talking about our experience at Distill America. I just got into town got off a little late, but actually it was better I did check a few things because I was just checking something about the brakes, and then I saw that the car had been running perfectly fine, but needed coolant. So I had to make a quick trip out to get some coolant, put that in there. Felt much better about the trip on an 85-degree day. And it worked out fine.
With no cloud cover.
With no cloud cover. Yeah, I was just like, this sounds like I don't want to gamble. Got a little bit of food beforehand. And then we just went to Vintage Brewing is where we went to. Very close to the Hotel Moxie where we stayed, which also basically across the street, half a block down the road. Hotel Indigo is across the street. I would say half block down the road is where we were from there. Nice because parking garage is about a quarter is kitty corner out the back of the building across the street, which makes it really easy to get your car to park downtown, which for most people in places in downtown is a problem. But besides us parking there for the hotel, great place to park for the event as well too, because you're a block and a half away and you don't have to worry about anything. Then we just got into line. I think was the big thing. Mm-hmm. You guys were already there. We popped in and we got through the door, and I'd say, I'm trying to think, obviously grabbed a glass and went pretty smoothly through the whole gate, getting in and everything. What was the first thing that caught your eye, or did you guys end up going to when you got in? Because I didn't get in at all the same time.
I headed right to Wallersheim.
I headed straight for the people who were handing out the hangover cure.
No, that's true. Yes, I did that. For the pre thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went.
Go ahead.
I was going to say after that, I went to, I think, Lacrosse Distilling.
Okay. That was out there. I wandered in, and my wife loves to collect all the things that happen right away at the booth. So there was a little searching for a bag that happened.
Yes.
That may have thrown off my overall hunting right away. But you know what? It's a necessary thing if you're going to collect all the knickknacks that everyone has. And to be honest, there were some pretty cool ones. The wooden muddler, I think from Evan Williams. That's actually useful.
Did not see that.
I'm like, and the little ice ball maker thing. For those people who want to make a little light round ice ball, there was a rubber coated thing you could get to make one of those, and some people really dig those. So that was kind of something else neat that was there besides stickers and other things that could be nabbed from distilleries as flair, if you would.
Yes. Yeah, finding a bag was hard because and we were in there.
And there was a bunch.
We were in there right when it opened, so it either had to be the Plus people that went through and just wipe stuff out. But I had like two things, and one of them being my new Dickle hat.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm not carrying this around. It's like, and I'm not gonna walk back to the place. So yeah, I was following your wife around, and I saw she had gotten a bag from our new friends at Dungeons Distilling.
Yep.
I was like, you have bags? Yes, I would like a bag because I have awkward things in my hands. And then I got back on track.
But that brings up another thing as far as events like this. When you're having stickers and other things, a bag actually is a good thing to have because it gets worn all day, and it's something that people tend to use again because it's not just some bland object to it.
I should have brought my own. I was going to, I didn't do it.
There were some rules that made it so you couldn't have a very big one and stuff like that, or if it wasn't clear. But I do understand that. But just for future use for other distilling companies, like it does become a good thing, even if you only have like 10 or 20 of something. It's something that gets used quite a bit as, I would say, free advertising.
Yeah.
So
I made a list of I printed off the map because and the map wasn't the map on the app is not 100%, but it was pretty darn close. I went through and marked all the ones and went around there, and I can tell you just from the 89 tents or booths that were there, of which 4 to 5 were unattended. But anyway, of all of those, I went to a fourth of them just because of either time. There was a couple that was no interest. I didn't care about going to Heaven Hill or Sazerac and stuff because I was there to try other things, things that I wanted to find, or couldn't find somewhere else. But then also some of those, especially some of the smaller places, like what is it, Ledge Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ledge Rock. They had like 12 things. So, and when 1 or 2 are good, then you're like, well, we got to see what all the rest of this is about. So it's really hard to try all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I did make it to a couple of the bigger tents at one point. I went to Dickle, who were the VIP Plus. They did a package with them, but they actually, as far as what they had for a lineup for them, that was nice to try. I thought they had a nice lineup of options for that from them, because if you were, it was what we're doing, kind of the combination, where we're going. I think they even had the Leopold blend is there as well.
They did. I was surprised at I thought they would have their rye, like the newer rye. They had the 4 options, which is fine, but the fact that they had the Leopold, I went right for it. It's like, you know what? Good on you. And a friend is like, you need to try this, and somebody else is asking, is that good? Yes, you need to have that before you spoil yourself, because it's worth savoring. So I like, good on them for bringing that bottle. I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Nobody was sitting in those black Adirondack chairs though, because I bet they would have been hot.
Yeah. So it was about 85 degrees, sunny, and obviously very warm during the event. Being out in the sun on the field and stuff like that. The organizers did a really good job of placing more water than I remember seeing in the past. Mm-hmm. And it was all ice water. Yeah. And it was
it
ice
full.
Water. Yeah.
So that was good. So I kept a bottle in my pocket that I was using for rinse water, and then that I would, that I would drink out of. So I was like rotating around there, and they kept the hydration going really well.
Well, and that's exactly that they mentioned, bringing one with as you came in. I'm like, you know what, that makes sense, and exactly for what you said. I'd rinse it out every now and then, toss it. Then I'm prepared for something new, especially if you had something a little funky or something a little extreme or experimental, if you will.
Yeah.
That was a neat way to do it.
Yeah. You weren't kidding, Neil. That was one of them that had a lot.
I was gonna say, and I like some of the stuff outside the bourbon that they had and rye. I was gonna say I like some of the other spirits they had when I was there. Okay, you keep going because I'm gonna end up getting onto cocktails at some point and some other things too. So I'm just trying.
Well, I'll go. You want me to go around the map, and then we can just talk about if we went to it or not? Okay.
Sure.
So going on the outside perimeter, the first one there was Wallersheim. I started there first, and the first thing that I had, because I said, like, what? Obviously, they said, have you had our stuff? Yes. You've got these things. What do you want me to try? What's different? And then they pulled out the blackberry brandy.
Yes.
That was my first pour, and I was not disappointed. I had 3 more after that over the course of the afternoon. So that was super, super tasty. And then wasn't too long after that, because I lost track because the Ewalds were there. I didn't see them for like an hour and a half into easily. And then and Adina had sent a picture. You got to go sit, and she sent a picture of the blackberry and the Curiosity. But so did you guys go to well, I revisited more than once, but also so my notes that I had was the blackberry brandy, and I tried their bourbon old fashioned in a can, which I thought was very tasty. I also had their brandy old fashioned in a can again, because that's what you have to do, and the Curiosity, as I said before. So
okay, I obviously stopped there. I think we all did. Which did you like better, the brandy or the bourbon in the can?
Brandy.
I lean brandy.
I would say the brandy. The other thing was they were saying they're going to start putting them in smaller cans.
Mm-hmm.
It will essentially be the same cost per ounce, but instead of someone going, oh, it's $8 a can, it's going to be $4 a can, and then which is good too, because it also says on the can it's like that's 3 old fashions. No, it's not. You're drinking the can. We're all drinking the can.
Once it's open, it's open.
It's exactly right. You're drinking the can.
And not yet, Matt, and I don't think it's available outside the distillery yet. It was new things coming out.
They only had 1 bottle.
I liked that. I think if you were into blackberry brandy, I think you would be totally into that, but it's less sugary than some other options out there. And it tastes a little bit cleaner to me than some of the other blackberry brandies. But I was joking about gummy juice. Yeah, that could be gummy juice. I tried the Curiosity blend that they had from there.
Yes.
As one of the other ones. I really like. I like when they play with what they have there. They have a nice core, and what they do on the outside lines when they do color outside is usually has a very good play to it. So that one did as well too. Mitch, what did you think of there? Did anything else jump out from Wallersheim at you?
So we went to them the day before and tried the experimental one there, as well as just their traditional round top rye and the Cocard brandy. And really, like the Cocard brandy and their just baseline round top rye are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good. So next to them was Tattersall. There was a Red Line booth there, and then in Tattersall, but I don't know if anyone, do you guys try I didn't try the Red Line.
I did.
I did. It was to be honest, it was towards the end of the day, like 5:30ish, and things were all a little bit warmer towards the very end. So It was good. It was nice, but I don't think I got a fair assessment of it with and some other people at then because the bottles were very warm at that point.
Yeah.
Not that that's that's just life at that point when something's 85 degrees out and it's been out for a few hours.
And the sun's pointing at your bottles.
It is. But that will lead me to a different point from a different distillery later on. But I was going to say, I did try one or two, liked them, but I wouldn't say I got a fair assessment of anything at that point.
I tried their toasted barrel rye, which I thought was really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had red lines before, and they were all picks, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. But
yeah, they seem very solid.
It was one I was gonna. It's like I'll get back to that one. I'll get back to this one, and then you can only have so much. Then there's Tattersall. I don't remember what I had from Tattersall. I think I had the cast strength rye. Just because that's one of my favorites. I've got a store pick of the cast strength rye, and it's just so good. I don't remember because I made a couple trips, and I don't remember what I had from Tattersall.
We had the regular rye and then the maple barrel finished rye from Tattersall.
Oh.
And I didn't want to like the maple barrel finished, but it was really good.
I did have the maple barrel finished, and I think I had the same reaction you did because it wasn't obscene.
No,
it was complimentary. Yeah.
So that was the toffee rum. Sorry, there's a peanut gallery.
That's
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
To have those.
So you brought that because I had the toffee rum. Was it them or was it Stateside that had Northwood? No. Yeah, Northwoods had the smooth sailing rum, which was a toffee rum.
Yeah. I don't know if I
no.
had that one.
Smooth sailing was the toffee rum. Right?
No, Paradise North had the toffee rum.
Yes.
You know what, dude?
What? You're all that's what happened.
I'm not even gonna claim it. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna say I know I had a toffee finish rum and I really liked it, and it was in that row. Well, I'm looking at the map. The map doesn't match what was there.
Yeah, so it was its own thing, and it was something to do about boats. I remember that.
Then it was smooth sailing.
Yeah.
They had one thing.
Had two, so they had one thing released, 2 experimental cinnamon rums, because he was trying to decide between those, and then another one I cannot remember.
Yeah. Because it was one person at that booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was smooth sailing. I liked that.
It was really good. It was just very sweet, right? Toffee.
Yeah. There was then there was 2 cocktail places on that row, which I didn't hit either one of them. They had Pope's cocktails, and then there was another one, I think at Stateside, and they had their cocktails in a can. My friend's wife, on the other hand, got to be really familiar with Stateside.
Just Sherry liked them as well too.
Yeah.
So
I had tea and lemonade, which I didn't like that much. But Morgan had the raspberry.
I had like 5.
She had 5, so she liked them a
lot too. She's a fan.
She's a fan.
Yeah. The last in that row is Paradise North.
Yep.
I went there.
I went there. I was gonna say the more of the rum side for me. I was gonna say just because I liked a couple of those. When we were talking about getting a little bit of that just from the end of the row, I'm coming back on the other side, like going up and looping down on the next row, Mike. Because when I was talking about getting that's on the other side. Nope, blue. I think Blue Ash is right over there. I can't remember which side it was on.
It was the other side. It was
the other side. Okay, never mind. Well, whatever. They were one for me towards the end. That I knew I had liked. I liked their honey because he uses his own honey in the whiskey, and it has a nice honey flavor to it where it's not overly sweet, but you can obviously tell it's in there even from just opening the bottle. Same thing with the cherries, come from his farm up in Door County. Not overpowering, nice flavor to it, not super sugary. But he had his new release of a whiskey that they were going to be coming out. And even later on in the day when it was warmer, when I had it, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. In spite of the heat and everything, I took a good little bit on that, trying to figure that out like 2 or 3 times. And I was like, I'm going to want to come back to this, when you get this new one. Not that, like I said, I already had the other ones, but I'm going to want to come back to that in a normal state. Yeah, me in a normal state.
Yeah.
It in a non-heated state.
Yeah.
That was one at that point where I was like, those are the ones I'm like, okay, this late in the game, something that, starts churning your mind on it. It was something that I was like, okay, I'm going to come back here. So I just wanted to mention it. I thought it was more on the inside when we came around, but that was basically on the end.
So, and I'm on, this is nothing against the group, but the row of the bigger places, just because we always talk about craft, we lump them as one, because it was Beam Suntory that was there, which had Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Knob Creek was there, and then next to them there was Dickel, Jefferson's, and Bullet. So out of that whole group, I'll just say I tried the Beam 7. So it was nice to try that. I like Makers. I tried one of the Makers Private Selects that seemed like it was one I hadn't had before. I had the Dickel Leopold, and then I skipped over the others. So I don't know. Did you guys hit those?
I didn't even walk over to that row at all.
I did. I did walk over there. Jefferson's, I tried 2 of them. I'll say Jefferson's had a nice array of their product there. I want to say there was 8 or 9 different things to try of theirs that was there at one point. So at least you got to play around in some of the finishes and different things going on. I know I played in someone else's tent too. Who was all in that row?
There was a beer place too.
No, I didn't go to the beer place. That wasn't. Sorry.
That was all in that row.
It wasn't a lot. There was someone else.
You want to go back to the far end, and I'll rattle off like three booths, and then we'll go do that.
Yeah.
That way we're not. So all the way on the very end, over by when the food, facing the food stuff, there was Brown Foreman was there, but then so there was Brown Foreman, Fort Haven, Horse Soldier, and Hatch.
Horse Soldier, I tried one of them. I did like it. As I say, it was just a normal bourbon that they had. There was just a lot of people around at that moment. There's a point where I don't like getting. I don't want to say I feel like I'm being harassed, but I'm not. But there's points where there's just too many people around, and you can't turn around and move. And I'll just take a step out from my space to be by myself to enjoy the drink. If I'm not chatting, and I'm not like holding up the line, I just don't want to be grouped in there. So that one I kind of popped out on. I think I wanted to go back more because isn't that by you, Mike? I thought is that North Kansas City is where Union Horse is. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Union Horse?
Yeah.
Well, it's Union Horse, which is different, but they are.
Oh, sorry. My bad on that. Hatch, I didn't stop into. I don't know. It just didn't happen between other things going on. I didn't come through. I have had their dock wall and a couple other things up into now. So if you had something new, I didn't have it from there. So I'd be interested to hear.
I stopped at Hatch. I had been avoiding them because the only time I'd ever heard the word Hatch before was Hatch chili peppers. So I thought they were going to have, Hatch chili liqueurs or something like that. So I'd been avoiding them. I went, I cannot remember for the life of me what I tried. Because that was probably about 20 minutes before we left.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. Well, that's it's one of those things where, like I said, it gets blurred.
Yeah. I remember enjoying it quite a fair amount, though.
Yeah. I tried a couple of Hatches. I didn't go to the other ones, but I did try a couple Hatches, which we had them in the past, and I like them. I think they do a good job. I didn't try their gin, which I wanted to try their gin.
I would have wanted to see what their, I don't know what their malted one is at now for age. I would assume it's probably getting close to a 4-year rather than a 2-year when it first come out. I would have liked to gone over there and seen if they had that or what the current release of it is to see the development of it. Would have been. What is that? Oh, yeah, MB Roland too. Yeah.
So down the next ones in the group, there's Devil's River, MB Roland, Old Smoky, and Bardstown.
Okay.
So out of that group, I only went to one of those, and that was MB Roland.
Same.
Yeah, well,
and I tried 2 brandies because I had never had their brandy before. Tried the Barker's Mill for the first time.
Really? I like the mill.
I just hadn't had it. I mean,
okay, that's fair.
I mean, I can't get it. So, I mean, I can get it. I just can't walk to the store and go get it. But I really enjoyed the Barker's Mill. Those 2 brandies. It was what was the 2?
Pink lemonade and a blackberry or a blueberry?
It might have been blueberry. I don't know.
It was moonshine.
It
was blackberry moonshine.
They were fantastic. Enjoyed it as I do pretty much everything MB Roland.
Yeah, well, they are. They even had the dark fired. I got all excited. I got way too excited towards the middle of the day at one point. So did Sean. Sean got kind of, he'll be back. Sean was really excited there. He got me excited. And then we got 3 other people behind us excited. I was like, no, you're going to try this. And they don't even have the corn whiskey. God damn it. That's even better. But
so
Devil's River was a different one there. I had that just to try it. The reason I tried it is this. There are some people in Wisconsin that are really into that. Almost as if, and I want to say it's replacing Kessler, but it's like an upgraded version. That's what I'm hearing. People like, I really like this, and they feel like they've made a better, smarter choice. But they found something better. So that's why I went in there to try it. I can see why for people up here. I understand that. I don't see anything wrong with it, but it doesn't blow me away per se, but I get it. You know what I mean? For the price and cost point and what it is, it's totally, I would drink it for that. I mean, I totally understood. So better than not, because how often do you go in seeing something and hearing stuff from people and then you try it and you're like, poof, you're wrong. I was like, oh, I get that completely. It didn't blow my doors off or anything, but I understand it completely with that. So good for them. I don't know if I hit anyone else. I don't think I hit Bardstown in the middle. So sorry.
What about you, Mitch? Did you hit those?
No, I only hit MB Roland out of those. I've had all the rest.
Okay. Okay. So the next batch, empty table, Coors, Great Northern, Hard Truth, and Curveball.
Okay.
What about those? Did you guys hit?
I hit the middle 2. I forgot what the first one was, but I hit Great Northern and whatever the third one was.
It was Coors, Great Northern, Hard Truth, and Curveball.
Hard Truth. Because to be honest, I haven't had a lot of Hard Truth. That's
me either.
There's a bunch of that. There's finished ones all over the place and stuff like that. And I just never seem to get my hand on it or get to taste it. So I went there and I liked it.
Yeah, I meant to do that for that very reason, just because we get the standard and the finished stuff all the time, just like Starlight. If around here, if I get Starlight, it's a finished Starlight. Okay, great. I would like to try the not finished Starlight, please.
Well, and that's exactly I don't want to say, but sometimes I get those two confused because of that same issue. Like every time I see it, it's a finish this or a finish that, and so yeah, I liked going through it that way. I was happy with that. It was another one. It wasn't anything bad. I can see why people were into it. I don't think it blew me away once again, but I can get that. Coolers I tried before. I don't think it jumped up in any quality from the last time I had it.
I was expecting to see Blue Run on the table with it, because didn't Coors buy Blue Run?
Yeah, well, who knows how fastly that processes. Yeah,
I was just expecting it as part of theirs. There were like, I saw two things on the table.
It would have made sense, but I think they're trying to push that side of the company a lot harder. And I think if you had opened Blue Run up at the same table, I don't think you would have had as much talk about your coolers one. You know what I mean? That would have been the off to the side, and you wouldn't have been focused on. If I was going to do that, if I was them, I might have done a booth, but split it in half. Like this side's talking about this, and this side's talking about this. So then you're not really detracting from your own brand. Yeah. Because I know, not being a dick, but I know which side I'd try first. You know. Yeah. I mean,
which one of those did you hit, Mitch?
So I went to the Coors table, and they only had those two things, and I owned both of those, so I skipped that. I tried Curveball this year, like I didn't last year. It was really good. I meant to go to Hard Truth, but I was like, oh, they're really busy right now. I'll come back. And then when I came back, they were all packed up and gone. So I was like, all right, well, messed that one up. And then what was the other one?
Great Northern.
Great Northern. Yep, went there. I tried their distillery only release, that port finished. Was it a port finished corn whiskey or a port finished corn whiskey, which was also spectacular? And I was like, oh, available only at the distillery, and they were like, yep. And I was like, yeah, y'all kind of suck for that.
Yeah. Well, Darren Stevens' point. That's one of those ones where if we, like you said, the Northern Waters, if we ever do a trip, there's like a north central section where we can hit up some of those.
Sorry. Do a north central leveling.
Yeah. So yeah, I tried to finish one, and then I said, that was another one. They were asked familiar with the products. I told them a couple that I'd had, and then I mentioned the pick from Nemeth.
Yeah.
Which they were very fond of that one, as are we. But they couldn't. I said Nemeth, and they're like, which one? It's like the Unseen Hand, and they're like, oh yeah. So then I was like, okay. So knowing that I like that, and so I was doing the same thing. What do you want me to try? And I do not remember. And I looked on the list, wasn't on the list. So it must have been one of the ones that they pulled back, because it was not on. I'm not saying the app was 100% updated with everything anyway, but
everyone brings a little extra.
And then we were just chatting, you know. But no, I didn't hit any of those other ones. The next group, finishing that row and just around the corner from
Great Northern, I know you may not have before, but I'm going to bring up, have you tried the ginseng whiskey from there that they sell in Southeast Asia? I know it was there.
I tried it last year.
And it's not me. It's too much ginseng, but I get it, and I find it a totally weird, unique kind of product and marketed right in the right area. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things I wouldn't have expected I don't even want to call it mainstream, but most distillers don't do something like that. So I thought it was neat. That's all. Okay, sorry, Mike. Didn't mean to
no, you're fine. So the last, going around the corner, there was 477 Michter's and Heaven Hill.
477. I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember going either. Oh man, I feel terrible.
Michter's, I think I had something from there, but I don't remember. It was towards the end, and I've had it before, and it was nice, like you would expect, but a little too warm for me to say anything about. And I don't remember what it was. I was just waiting for the table next to me.
Heaven Hill, anybody?
I
went there to look for a bag. But when I was doing for the bag stuff, because there's a lot of people that go in early, they were standing at Sazerac and they were standing at Heaven Hill and stuff. And so that was the time that they just, anyway. So yeah, I didn't hit those. Okay, continuing down the row. There was on the end, Timekeeper, Round River, 2020 / Southern Star, and Woodenville.
Timekeeper. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I hit that section very well.
Yeah,
I hit Timekeeper. They had canned cocktails and a couple spirits.
Yeah. You know how I remember Timekeeper, and the reason I stopped there, and if she wants to say something, she should do it, was because Adina was making cocktails on the fly, and we're standing there, and there was one, she pulled some of the stuff from 2020 or from Timekeeper, and that's when I tried their stuff, but it was in a cocktail that Adina had mixed up. I meant to go to 2020 because I was given friend in the chat, Jesse Page, had given me a sample of a Southern Star. It was really good. I really liked it. And so I was like, oh man, because the name 2020 didn't hit anything. But then when I saw that, I was like, oh. So anyway, I totally botched going back there to go because they had a few bottles and I would have liked to have tried more than just a couple things. But their stuff was, I thought, what I had tried of the sample from him and then a couple others that I saw and just haven't bought. Good price point, for the you always want good whiskey at a good price. So and totally blue Woodenville. I like Woodenville.
I do. That's one of those things I would be looking for something that's a little weird twist on what they had, and then I was looking for something. I found a couple maybe twistier things, so I know what you're going to get is good from there. So, and I do like it.
So go ahead.
I was going to say I skipped Woodenville too, just because it's like I'd had so much of it, and I was so interested in so many of the other ones.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, I really liked it. Round River is like Yahara Bay and someone else. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So they branched out in that direction. Okay, that makes sense then.
Okay. I just blew past that one. Okay, the next group is Nearest, Valhalla, Toppling Goliath, and Milam and Green.
Milam and Green I went to because we've had some of their stuff in the past. I think they had a port there that I tried. I liked it, and then I'm gonna be a lie because there was another one. I think it was a small batch that I think I liked even a little bit more at that point. But I don't get. That's another one I don't get to try too much up here. So I was happy to see that one and try a couple of those. Who were the other ones in there?
It was
Nearest, Green, Valhalla,
Toppling Goliath.
Toppling Goliath. I think my wife went to that one, but not me. Damn it. I don't remember that one too much. So, do you remember any of those guys?
Skip Nearest, Valhalla. I think was that like a Wilden one, or is that different?
Pulling up the booth list right now.
I think it was
Valhalla vodka. Valhalla vodka.
That's what it was. Oh, that's the one where people. I don't know who it was. Was that or an Irish? No, that was the Irish one. But it was like, it would be neat if they looked a little more Viking and played into it. I was like, it'd be hot, but that would be neat. I didn't try that one. I think Sherry didn't thought it was all right. For a vodka. I don't know.
Toppling Goliath. Who was Toppling Goliath?
Brewery. It's a brewery in Iowa.
See, I did not hit a single one of those.
Okay.
Let's see here. I was going to see what they had because I did kind of wander through some of that, but that's okay. No, I don't see that they have.
All right. Next group. I didn't go to them, and even later I was walking with Shannon, and saw Milam and Green. And I looked at it, and my comment was, I haven't had a lot of Milam and Green, and I don't know why. There's no reason why. I've had like 2 things from them. There's no good reason. So Um,
There you go.
all right, next group. And this is one where I screwed up. Next group is Chattanooga, Spirits of Tennessee, Sazerac, and Wild Turkey.
Okay. I did go to Chattanooga, and I was happy. I tried 3 things, and all of them were good. Only because you know about my past history and the other things, so I'm beginning to fall into the category of the early couple things I had that I believe were just a bad batch or an odd release.
Your high malt. There's something weird with your high malt. Bad cork, something.
There was some, and then there was 2 of them like that, but I have not hit that in quite a while. I didn't have anything there that seemed like that, so I'm happy to see I'm starting to lean more towards what everyone else was saying about that, because they're like, oh, it's solid all the time, and I'm like, oh, I've hit 1 or 2, but no, for a couple years now, I have to agree, pretty solid product. So I that's why I went there. I know it was neat to see it and try it in that thing, and I think they had. I know there was 3. I thought there might have been 5 at one point. But yeah,
I do want to say one thing. Well, because I'm in 30 some mentioning so far. My list is coming off of the app and memory, as far as okay, that's right. So if something's not right on the app as far as who said who was there, I don't know. As the phrase goes, we're lovers, not experts. So, well, we're not lovers, but anyway, I will say Chattanooga. I was going to go back to it because when I saw it on the app, it's listed 3 things, all things which I have already, and then I don't know if there was something later on there because I was like, oh, I'll try it again, because I saw there was a 2 Rise. And the 111 is what I saw on the list. So because I was like, oh man, it'd be really cool if they have some of the experimental, but I don't know if that any of it was there. And if there was, I totally borked that one, but did not hit any of the others.
I didn't hit a single one of those.
Yeah.
I messed up.
Next, bar to table, a Wilderness Distilling, Central Standard, and Ledge Rock.
Okay. Oh, wait.
2 of those.
Okay.
2 of those I hit pretty good.
Okay, I say the same Central Standard. I went in a little bit just to check on things. But where I left off with stuff. All right, nothing blew me away per se. I want to hear your thoughts on Ledge Rock, and we'll go over the other ones. But that was the one I remember. I did have a few things from there.
Yeah.
I know I was 1 or 2 people had told me about it. It was just like in Fond du Lac, I think, and I had not been down there, just life and whatnot. But I had heard a few things. Hell, I even have a shot glass. I think it's holding up the light right now, the way it's working. But I was happy with what they were, and I liked where his mind was experiment-wise with things he was doing, if that makes sense. When the way he approached it when I was discussing stuff with him. How about that?
All right.
I'll let you guys go for a second before I jump back in.
Mitch, what'd you have?
So I had their weeded and then their finished corn whiskey, and that finished corn whiskey was absolutely fantastic. One of the highlights of Distill America. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of Ledge Rock, that corn whiskey that you mentioned, and the farm boy weeded. That was really good. Really nice guy. Talked to him about getting him to come on there because I really like their products and stuff. I didn't go to Central Standard. Didn't do bar to table, Central Standard, whatever. But Ledge Rock, spent a couple trips there. Eilden or Wilden. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I do apologize. But I had the Poachine, which I liked, and then their single malt, which is the Poachine is the base for their single malt. So and it was not a release. This is really early. This is where we see where it's going. It's like, all right, well, there you go. So yeah, no, they were pretty cool. Okay, I'll do the next one with a little bit higher group because we'll go around the corner. There was New Holland, Northern Waters, Blue Ash, Beyond, L&T, O'Shaughnessy.
Okay. What was the first one? Because the first two I know I hit for sure.
New Holland.
No, I only had a little bit from there. Go ahead, Mitch. Did you have
we both had it. Yes. They had a malted rye. 7-year malted rye I enjoyed, and then Morgan tried some of their finished stuff that she quite enjoyed. But I also went to Wilden, and their Poachine and their single malt was very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Yeah, I tried that. I tried that malted rye too. The Walleye Run was what they called. I wanted to try the Dragon's Milk Old Fashioned. I did not. A friend did, and he liked it quite a bit. I did not hit Northern Waters. I meant to go back there because I thought I saw Peter there. And
he was there. He was walking around at one point.
But I didn't hit any of those others that I mentioned. So
Northern Waters, obviously Morgan did. I did. I tried their peated whiskey.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
I see. That's what I missed. I missed that.
Sorry for around here, people who get into peated whiskey. That set Sean off. That he was like looking for other peated whiskey the rest of the day. I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna happen, buddy. And that was damn good. I didn't have too much else from them just because I was going through, but every time we do go back there, they always have something really good because that was nice to see the way that progressed. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mitch. Your thoughts?
I was going to say that's the only sample I got twice was their peated whiskey. That was so good. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, yay for them again. All right, well, who is after Northern Waters?
Northern Waters. There was Blue Ash, Beyond, L&T, and O'Shaughnessy. Yeah,
Blue Ash was the one that I liked. I mentioned before. So
Blue Ash was solid.
Pay attention for when they release that the new release from there because damn, it was outstanding. That thing was really complex and dense at that point. It was a neat work through, and it wasn't a lot of effort to do it either. So yeah, we're gonna get a hold of him because I'm excited to see that thing come around the corner. Like I said, the other flavored releases, if you're going to get a flavored whiskey, they make sense. They're not the overly sugared BS type. I think the cherry on the one was a little bit more of like a tart cherry, which was kind of neat because instead of being super sweet, it had a little different edge to it. So I like them. Sorry, I don't remember the rest of them. And I don't know if I hit the rest of them. I'll just be honest.
O'Shaughnessy, L&T, and Beyond.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know what L&T had.
L&T was they listed nothing in their list, but it's Kentucky 10 is one of theirs.
Oh right, yeah, no. So that's I want to say that's from what's that giant newish distillery?
Green River. No.
Yeah, I know it
you
might be Green River. Yeah,
Green River, or that one that was like unnamed for the longest time and massive and growing.
I think that's Green River. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so we'll move down to the next batch. Unbound, Koval, Penelope, Proximo, and Pure Class and Old Sugar.
I delved into Caval because it had been a while since I had the rye nowhere near as sweet as the one we had that one time a while ago. It's one of those ones. Maybe it was just the bottle, but that was Diabetes in a Glass, the one we had a couple of years ago. Not bad, but you knew you were getting it. Not the same there. And I was gonna say they have a 4 grain that I like. That they do. Obviously, I think oats is in that one as well too, which seems to be a heel for me in some whiskeys. But I did like that. I did like the 4 grain as well too.
Mitch, did you hit any of those?
I know I went to Koval and had because they had their straight rye. I had that. Is one of those guys the guy with the mushroom gin, or have we not even gotten anywhere now?
Haven't gotten there yet.
No, we're not there yet. That's clear down the other section.
Yeah,
all right. So there was Cobalt. Yeah,
we're almost there.
What
Old
else is
Sugar,
there?
Pure Class, Proximo, Penelope, Koval, Unbound.
I don't remember what most of those people are, unfortunately.
Proximo. I think one of them's cocktails.
Unbound has Les Terribles and the Maelstrom as 2 of their whiskeys listed. I don't know if that's necessarily what they brought. Yeah, Pure Class. It was like lemonades, moonshines.
Was Unbound potato vodka?
I don't know. It just lists the name on the label.
Sorry, Pure Class. That was the potato vodka. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and that would make sense.
Probably because there's vodkas and rums and yeah.
Okay.
The potato vodka was actually really solid. Didn't taste like much, but had a great mouthfeel. Right.
Okay.
Good job to some extent. All right.
I tried none of those. So next. Because again, I find ones that's like things like Ledge Rocker. I'm like, I'm going to spend some time here. And then Fred's going to put. Yeah, they moved to a standalone tent. There's a couple that moved around on there, but okay. Next group, New Riff, Holiday, and Blue Ice, and then Yahara. We're going to go down the line.
Okay, go one at a time on this because I did.
All right,
some of these.
New Riff. I'll say mine first. New Riff did not stop at New Riff. Holiday I did because I wanted to try the see which Rickhouse wheat they had. Yep. Blue Ice, went there because of the 2 cocktails. That was the Blue Ice vodka, the Huckleberry vodka lemonade, and then they were putting the coffee liqueur in the shaker, and that's all they were doing to it.
Just shaking it up a little bit.
Shaking it up and letting it go, and it was pretty darn good. Sorry, I just dropped something. And then I did not hit Yahara. No, I did not. I walked by it and kept thinking I was going to stop, and I just didn't do it.
All right. First one again.
New Riff.
New Riff.
Did go there. What I'm used to having from them. So, did good, solid stuff, but didn't have anything that was, overwhelming. How about that I had from there? But solid. Next one.
New Riff, Holiday, Blue Ice, Yahara.
Holiday I went to. Tried them all because I don't get to try enough of that. And when I do, it's usually just the one release. And there seems to be some cult followings in areas about it. So I wanted to get it more adept, and it's very good. I don't know what to tell you. I was going to say the couple I had solid, and I forget what one did you have, Mike? There was one that stood out that they had. They had
the wheat, the Rickhouse wheat, and the regular bourbon and the Rickhouse bourbon, I believe. I tried the Rickhouse wheat. Rickhouse proof wheat.
I think think it was that one. It was either that one or the bourbon. And one of those was actually like stood out significantly than the rest that they had. And I was like, okay, like that's sharp. I think I was once again, that was another one where I heard a lot of love, and sometimes I get skeptical until you have it, and I totally understand.
Yeah.
What all the excitement's about. So good for them on that. I didn't really stop at Yahara. Sherry did. She had something that she liked from there. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And what was the other person?
Blue Ice.
Well, yeah, whatever. I'm not even getting into it. Yes.
Yeah, I know you stopped there.
That digs into the cocktail side of things where, obviously that's very one of the most refreshing things in the middle of the day to pop it off. And if you're doing the coffee one, you might need a little bump in the middle of the day. So both of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mitch, did you hit any of those?
I think I hit Yahara. That's one of the ones I don't remember well. Blue Ice, I just got some vodka. And I skipped Holiday and New Riff because, I skipped New Riff because I own all of it. And I skipped Holiday because I'd had all of it and I was trying to try new things.
Fair enough.
Fun times.
Okay. All right.
Real duty.
Next group. Next group will be, and one of them I think didn't end up showing up, maybe. Cedar Ridge, Traverse City, Dampwork, Sturgeon, and Blade and Bow.
Shit, there's 3 of them in there that I had a good time at.
Sturgeon had the mushroom gin.
Yep.
Which I
okay, let's just go there first. I'll probably be having him on and seeing if I can't go down and get some other samples here.
That's the only thing I tried out of that row.
Okay. I tried a few things out of that row because he had a lot of different unique. I'll let you guys talk about it. I'll jump in if that's all you had. Sorry, you can talk about the mushroom one.
Mitch, did you get that Cedar Ridge, Traverse City, Dampworks, Sturgeon, Blade and Bow?
I don't remember what Dampworks is.
I think they're the ones who didn't make it. They were just on the map, and so I did. So I didn't go to Cedar Ridge because I was going there yesterday. I didn't do Traverse City because I'd already had a fair amount of it. From Sturgeon, I tried the mushroom. Morgan loved the rhubarb gin. Mm-hmm. And I also tried the chocolate bacon liqueur, which was very good. And then the last one was Blade and Bow, which I did not stop at.
Cedar Ridge, when I went there, I started off my day with the quintessential. Just because I knew it was a solid, fun start. That's always good. So that's where I started that. I love what Murphy Quint's doing there. So there's not, it's kind of like MB Rolling. There's not much on the table that's not going to be good when you stop at that table. So that's all I really had from them was a quintessential. But man, that's a fun way to start off the day. Then the Sturgeon one, that was full of weird, unique gins or liqueurs or flavored things in it. The mushroom one, everything was powerful on the nose, right? Like that mushroom one, you could, away from the glass, you could smell what you were getting into. Yeah, the chocolate bacon liqueur that Neil was talking about. Interesting, because I got some really fatty flavors on the tail end that stuck around on that I was thinking you normally get more of the chocolate on the end. That stuff really has some unique things. I hit that table with all the things that were on there. And if I was a chef, that's right, with cocktails or a chef, my brain was like, holy cow. Could you imagine making like a mushroom reduction with that in there? I'm sorry, it's still all a mess with that because they had like a chili lime habanero, something, all neat flavors that went together. And I'm not into rhubarb, so I'm glad you liked it because there are other people there that would be really into that, Morgan. That's just not my flavor, but man, what they said it was, you had no denying what was in the bottle. Is the best way to put that.
I think he said he'd made 140 spirits.
That's probably right.
Well,
Yeah. I talked with him a little bit. I mean, I had the mushroom gin, then talk with him for a little bit. All right. We'll do the next group that finishes off that row.
mm-hmm.
This will be a big one. And I, again, this is another one. There's a lot I didn't get to. Backbone, Blom Brothers, Downdrans, Natural Spirits, Lux Row, Angel's Envy, and 45th Parallel. Out of that whole list, I hit Natural Spirits many times, as you can assume. We went like in between, trying different things. Went back to Natural Spirits, but I did try the mango liqueur, which was good. It's not as good as cantaloupe liqueur. Did try the old fashioned again, but the cantaloupe was, of course, the go-to all day long. The Downdrans, I tried their hibiscus liqueur, which I liked. But out of that group, those are the other ones that I kept meaning to go back to Blom Brothers because I didn't see anything that I hadn't had, but it's Blom Brothers, you know, so it's like you got to go back to Blom Brothers, but I just didn't. I just ran out. I should have made a checklist off of things on the app and then made sure to check things off. It probably would have helped me stay on track better. But okay, so out of Backbone, Blom Brothers, Downdrans, Natural Spirits, Lux Row, Angel's Envy, 45th Parallel, and again, I cannot confirm the accuracy of this list. We are lovers, not experts.
Blom Brothers, I had bourbon just having it. I always solid like that. What was the first one?
Backbone.
Backbone? No, I didn't. Sherry did and liked what was there, but I don't remember what it was. She was in and out. Who was the next person? Because I know I hit someone else up in the middle.
Backbone, Blom Brothers, Downdrans.
You mentioned that the hibiscus liqueur that they had.
Yes.
I did have it. Oh, Natural Spirits. Yeah, that's exactly what you do with that. I had one other one from there, and I think I had the bourbon, and I liked where that was at. That's one that's down by that Madison area. That it's something you could add into like a day trip. I think it's just on the east side of the city. So yeah. Oh, and you got apparently Morgan went to 45th Parallel. They had a single malt that was neat. You know, a little bit of a ride. I didn't try enough from them. Just things pile up over the day.
Scotland.
What?
We're talking about 45th Parallel because Mackenzie was there, and he's the Scottish guy that their single malt's named after.
Excellent.
So you went there.
Yes.
And
all right.
Single malt was solid.
Yeah, I missed that. What about
I think I also got their rye too, which was very good. Went to Natural Spirits, only do cantaloupe liqueur. I had their other liqueurs last year. Very good. Only cantaloupe liqueur.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're better. Cantaloupe liqueur is the best.
I did like the old-fashioned one this year.
The old-fashioned one's good.
Morgan had the mango and the old-fashioned, and she said she remembered the mango being better last year, but like the old-fashioned was delightful. So.
Oh yeah,
that little
old-fashioned's
cherry
great.
slide in there is.
It just doesn't do the reset like cantaloupe does.
No.
So okay, moving over. Yeah, because now that finishes the main two big rows.
Oh my goodness, excellent.
I know, right? So now we're down in the big tents over there, and there was this was like some Wisconsin love on that side. Great Lakes, Knowlton, La Crosse, Soul Boxer, J. Henry, Driftless Glen, Dancing Goat.
You're gonna have to go slower because I'm gonna go with Great Lakes. Let's start there.
Great Lakes. I had the Dirty Helen Rye because I had to have Dirty Helen Rye, and it was good. But then I had their new Still and Oak Rye after that, and he's like, "Hey, we just won some awards with this. It doesn't mean that it's better than anything else, but it's really cool that we won some awards with this. And I mean, I like some Dirty Helen, but I gotta tell you that That Still Oak Rye was pretty good.
Hmm.
I enjoyed that. Made a couple trips back there to Great Lakes.
I had a Dirty Helen bourbon. Of course, I had that before. I had a lot of things there, so that's pretty standard. But Matt came up with a cherry blossom cocktail while we were there waiting and discussing things, which was lemonade, some of their honey citrus, I think it was vodka, could have been gin, and their cherry liqueur, all in it. Oh, that was one of my better cocktails of the day.
Yeah,
that was a damn good cocktail, and it looked like just the right little splash of that cherry in the middle. How it opens up over a little bit of time in there. Yep, name even fit. I was gonna say that was a good cocktail.
Mitch, did you go to Great Lake?
We had the Still Oak Rye and the Amberana and honey finished that I quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Dirty Helen, but I was also thinking about standing vertically, so I passed on that.
Good call.
No, the Amberana, there was 2 or 3 places that had that finish, which was, I mean, it's getting more common, but I thought it was neat how you could at least kind of compare that to the 2 or 3 different places.
I think that as it's really gotten to be used a lot, to put it in a nice way, some of the people that are doing it now, at least the ones using it there, they're doing it in a way that it is complimentary and not overwhelming and doesn't seem to be making up for faults for anything. It's just like, well, we can do an Amberana too, and it's coming off with it where it's not doesn't taste like you just drank potpourri.
Yes,
because I have had some that does.
Those are awful.
Okay, next one was Knowlton. Did any of you guys go to Knowlton? So I talked to them for quite a bit. Went back a couple of times because then they were doing cocktails.
Maybe I did, but go ahead, go over it. See
they are. He is a cheesemaker.
Oh yes, you told me about
They distill the sugar milk from that, and they have vodkas and gins. They had a bourbon, but it wasn't their bourbon. But they pull no punches saying that it's not their bourbon. But the bourbon was called Eviction Notice, and the plan was, well, there was 2 reasons for that. But also, basically, it's when their bourbon comes out, they're going to kick that label to the curb. So, but had their straight gin, which I liked, had their straight gin in 2 different cocktails, which was really good. Really nice people. Talked to them about coming on, so I'll reach out to them and get them on there because I think just the idea of the cheese making part and then moving that into it. But also, what I thought was really, really cool is they had with their spirits, they're like, we have these things over here that, no, that's not for a cocktail. It was pairings to have with their stuff. Yeah. And they had pieces of orange and mango but none of their cheese. I was like, oh, you didn't bring any cheese. And they go, not today.
Well, that's what I thought would be neat with it. Well, obviously, with the intent.
But they had these beautiful cups, perfectly sliced little things, whatever, and it was right on the money. And I thought that was really cool.
Good, because I would have missed that one. But yeah, that was a neat booth. And I think you hit it on that. So good.
Yeah, I actually ended up buying a bottle of their gin before we headed home.
Oh, did you really?
Yep.
Just a neat one. So a little bit different.
Yeah.
All right, who's after? Oh,
Neil's commenting because Neil went over there to go try the stuff, and there was a guy that was potentially overserved or dehydrated, and he was doing a really big sales pitch for him. And Neil's sitting there lying there and like, I just want a sample, man. That's not what Neil said, but he was given some really nice sales pitches for him. But it was at 5:45, so it was late in the day.
Yeah. All right.
But he wouldn't move. So you guys tried the Knowlton?
Well, Mitch did.
You bought their stuff, but
yeah, I didn't. I think I may have slid past that one accidentally.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And then there was Lacrosse, which I meant to go to, and I didn't because one of the things that struck me was on the list. They had one of the best spirit names that was called Downtown Toodaloo Ride and Rye, which also sounds like it could be a Grateful Dead or other jam band song.
There is a skeleton riding one of the old school unicycle bikes on it on the label.
Yeah. Yeah, the old Downtown Toodaloo. It has to be because what is that? There's a song. There's only one way for me to look it up while you're talking. I'll look at that.
That's fine. I went and had their Buck Hunter that I had not had and wanted to try last year. Missed the first release, and I think the second release came out this year. And I got a chance to try that, so I was happy. Yeah. I've been to the distillery. We ate there. It was really good food for it was. I was going to say I haven't gotten to try the extensive array of Lacrosse's stuff, but I like their light whiskey for what it is, and I like the fact that they didn't dump it from their lineup after a certain point, because that's actually their light whiskey is used by a lot of other people or entities to torque or twist it a little bit, second barreling, and all of those have been really great projects once it hits that other, because I think it's about 60 to 90 days is that it's aged in the barrels. So I was going to say, once you hit that next barrel is where it really torques, and I like what it does to it at that point. And I did like the Buck Hunter as well too. So did you stop there, Mitch, at all?
Yeah, it's the first place I stopped. Had the light whiskey and the Buck Hunter.
Nothing else?
I think Morgan got their wrong.
But
I was really trying to limit myself to 2 at most.
Yeah,
that was a good way to do it. Oh,
trying. Okay, so next one. Well, there was the Big Wisconsin Row, which was, I can't remember. I think it was Driftless Glen first. I did not go to Driftless Glen. It was one that's like, oh, I'll get back there. And then I kept getting distracted by their 2 neighbors to the south.
I did, and the one Mitch had mentioned is the one that took me from there. That was, I hadn't had that one, and that one, I love that one.
So having been there the day before, I've skipped.
And I think you told me that, and I went back and I was like, oh, I get it. But then I walked by J. Henry again, and
So what did J. Henry pulled your mind? What did you have there? Because there's 2 other ones on the end that I know.
The J. Henry, there was the rye, and then there was the vino finish, which is the vino finish, the one that's called the Civilian.
I believe so. I don't think
Seville, like Seville, the city. But anyway, the vino finish, and I went back to that a couple times. It's like that's pretty darn good.
It was light. It was very light and bright. Kind of exciting for a whiskey compared to some of the other heavy ones that you get.
Yeah, and a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
If she says I believe so, it is so.
I had the rye from J. Henry. That was the experimental one for this year. I had that one. I like that one. And I also, at one point I went back to the
coolest shirts worn by any team. Did you notice their shirts?
Oh, I knew
they all had some sort of J. Henry logo, but they were like bowling style shirts, and they were really cool. It was a good looking group.
Well, if you're gonna do it, you gotta have fun with it sometimes too. So, yeah. Who was on the other side of them?
The goat.
The goat. Oh, well, I had some of them at a tasting the week before, but I did go. The Bang Dog.
Yeah.
Any one of the humble blends that they had there was great. I'll let you guys talk about that, because like I said, I had that lineup a little bit before, and yay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mitch.
I actually didn't go because I went on Thursday to the distillery. So
okay.
unfortunately completely skipped it, but I had everything at the distillery. Bought more than one bottle, so that should fun.
Well, that's fair. But yeah, the rye assortment that they had through the, I would call it the quirky and humble section, or different names in that thing, was a neat tasting flight. But I like the Bang Dog. It was a malted one, or 51%, I think, a very high malt.
I like the Bang Dog, and then I don't remember the name of the other one that was released around Bang Dog time. Had that one. That was good. What else do we have?
It was Sean's first time having the Barons, and he liked that it tasted a little fuller to it than a little bit more like you would expect from Wisconsin one, a little bit heavier, not as light and effervescent. But he was a fan.
I had like 4 or 5 from Dancing Goat, and because I made a couple trips there. But I'm trying to remember what the other ones. There was I think it was an older limo that they had. Like was it a 7 or it wasn't a 6. Anyway, it was good. It's Dancing Goat's good. So I mean, what else is there to say?
All right, do we have any other booths that we missed?
That's all. That's the booths according to the map. That's all the way around. It was a good time. Like I said, I got there you go. That was it. Of course, Fred knows. But I had a really good time. I mean, and I would have bought more Sunday if I wasn't getting up and getting out of town. I would have picked up some of the stuff that I found there. So I did go to festival in between leaving and then waiting for our after party plans. But I only picked up beer that was on the list for people that people wanted me to bring back. Fruit beer for myself. So
fruit beer. Not what I expected.
The New Glarus Raspberry Tart and the Wisconsin Red. Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
Bottle of candy.
So what was the most surprising place or spirit this year for you?
So shock factor, I would say the mushroom gin. Right? Never ever thought of that. But that Ledge Rock corn whiskey, probably like standout whiskey of the year.
Oh, I like that. I'll have to. Maybe I'll have to. Now I wish I would have stopped on the way back, pick up a bottle. But yes, Mike, anything that?
Now, as a booth, Ledge Rock stood out just because of what they had. Really nice guy, all doing their own thing. Got of everything I tried there was really good, but I thought what was just like, I mean, probably like how people thought back when Jay Henry was just kind of sitting on stuff, and then it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, you guys have a lot of things. I'm not trying to compare them to it, but I kind of got that vibe. Which is like, not that I'm an expert. Again, we're lovers, not experts, but the just seeing what they had on there is like, this is good, like solid good. And that corn whiskey was really good. I enjoyed those, but yeah, I think as a booth, that was probably my standout. And but held really close to the Knowlton just because I thought that is so cool what you're doing.
That was really unique. Yeah, that was probably the most. I know Sturgeon's had the variety of flavor stuff with the gins and the mushroom and stuff, but I think that was a really unique story amongst the entire crowd. Yeah, was the Knowlton. I don't know, man. I love the peated whiskey. That thing was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that to be as neat as it was. I have to ask Sherry. She found another favorite drink of hers. Well, she was out and about, but I don't know if she's back with Gavin or not yet. And she didn't tell me which one, but I apparently have to get some.
For your son, Barons?
No. Well, he might need to sleep or go fishing. You know how it is. No, it's that one, and I was gonna say there was another single malt out there that I wasn't expecting that kind of caught left field, but the sturgeon one I was not. Like I said, that was one of the ones that spun my brain with how to use everything. The blue ash finish one was a surprise for me. I'll say that thing was the one I wasn't expecting at that point. You guys mentioned the corn one from Lead Rock. I agree with that completely. If I got a chance to try maybe that blue ash one when it wasn't later in the day, I think that might have been a neat comparison for kind of left field wasn't expecting at whiskey.
Yeah.
I do want to give a huge shout out, thank you to all of the attendees that won, but more so all the volunteers at Distill America that worked hard the morning of to make everything come to fruition.
They busted ass. We walked by a couple times, watched them, but especially my walk Saturday, they were busting ass.
Yeah, they had to do a little extra work to make things come together, and like always, everything did when it had to. So it doesn't happen without great volunteers, and they definitely have some to do so. So cheers to them for that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to them. I think before we go here, we got like 3 things to cheers. Drew got married.
Yeah, our boy Drew.
Our boy Drew got married. That's why Kevin couldn't show up. He was at the Drew Crowley wedding, which is fair. Whew. It's getting a little hot here. Maybe I'm dipping into this bottle a little too much.
We do have. There's a couple other pictures because we didn't get everybody. Because Melanie, because Melanie, I think Melanie was sitting in the shade or something, and I thought somebody said I ain't moving. Well, she probably wouldn't say ain't, she'd say no. But we did get one group shot with us wearing our Weddled stickers, and then we did get to have our little after party, which was mild compared to the past.
Well, I think the heat kind of sucked some life out of the people at that point.
Yeah.
We're all happy to share stuff, but you could clearly tell at a certain point people could have all gone to bed too. Hey, no one else followed suit with that. Is that the video?
That's true. No one else stepped. So,
hey, gotta have a little fun with the new motel.
You did not win.
It was only like 4.9 seconds.
Oh yeah. Oh, these are pictures from Shannon because she went on her excursion to see Chris Farley's grave, and then she had her swag of the pirate patch. It's our favorite pirate. Not you can't see it there, but I think somewhere along about that same time is floor pizza, but her carpet pizza. But but it was fun. It was really good fun, especially meeting up with everyone, seeing you guys in person again. It was a good time, short time. And then obviously the Ewalds and Robinsons, I love them both. They're fantastic people, and so it's a good time.
It's good. It was fun to see everybody, and like I said, it almost felt quick this year for me. Even though I got in early, it felt like it went kind of fast. But I did walk back to the hotel, which you are allowed to go in and out as long as you have that. So if you do seem to accumulate things like my wife does, a bag of stuff, you can wander back to your hotel, which is just across the street, to drop it off or go to the bathroom or anything you need. Some events don't let you leave. I thought that was a neat perk considering the distance for some things, and allows you a little bit of leeway at some point. So it's a great event. It's already on the calendar. I got worried
because I'm assuming it'll be about the same weekend next year. But I have a kid who's graduating college next year, but I looked and it's not that weekend. It's like, okay, he's either gonna have to decide how much do I love you, or maybe you can invite to come on the trip. So
Yeah,
Your
this is
lover's not experts.
the graduation
Right.
present. Is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yep. So
Hey, that's what my friend Sean was. We have some other people who are like golfers and like to have a good time and stuff, and we were discussing about how that group of people I think would find this weekend pretty entertaining, from what they get to do and experience in there and how they like to try stuff.
yeah.
So yeah. Oh, same weekend next year. Thanks,
Yeah.
Fred. We appreciate it.
So yeah, it was great. It was just it seemed to go fast. So but again, always good to see everybody.
Yeah, and if you don't, make sure you start planning now for it. It'll be happening, and I think I'll be attending the same hotel I did last year. And now realizing where some other stuff is, maybe we'll see if we can put something together for after the event. You know, maybe we can talk Drew Crowley into coming up here and doing a concert, or someone there might be able to do some other things. That's all.
Yeah.
It'd be neat to have a little kick at the end, but maybe if it's not 85, that was a bit draining.
Yeah, it was.
It took me a second to get a second wind to go. It was one of those things. I think we stopped for like a half an hour or something happened, and all of a sudden,
I was pounding water and electrolytes and everything else to try to dehydrate because I didn't go to the bathroom one time the entire time I was on the field at Bree Stevens. And I was drinking a lot of fluids. I had pounded super electrolytes walking into the event because it was going to be outside in the sun, and then it was nuts. But that was cool, and glad everybody made it home okay. And because there was a lot of traveling going on, so
everything went great. So
yeah, it's good.
I think we're gonna have to close down. I didn't even look up and realize what time it was. But hey, we had a good time, and there was a lot that happened that weekend. And like I said, Mitch left a trail of destruction across the Midwest and Wisconsin, which is I absolutely love it.
Across the state of Iowa, the great state of Iowa.
Hit Iowa. Little
all you did. You
one employee and two other people.
Nice.
So just remember to mark the calendar for next year and make sure to attend. We'd love to see you there because it is such a great time to just hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
But until next week, remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What?